Dear Liberty, what the was that? Ouch.
Damn. This is how we're starting today?
Yep.
You know what? Let's go.
Can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning! Snowman here to all you Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49er haters. Shut up! I gotta thank you, Shane.
I mean, whatever happened to the games where breaking 100 points was, I don't know, unusual?
There was one word to sum up the All-Star weekend.
Trays. Cause we take this job so serious.
Splash Brothers, yes. Ray Allen, replace him with Steve Kerr. Reggie Miller, yeah.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Let's get this party started. Good morning. Welcome to the Tripped Out Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. There's going to be a lot of college football talk today. And we invite you to subscribe to our new channel at youtube.com/@SIT Morning, because we're going to be airing there exclusive. We're going to be airing there YouTube wise beginning in a month's time. If we get whenever we reach the 1,000 subscriber plateau, that's when we'll move everything. This portion of today's show is brought to you by BetUS.com, where we make all of our picks. BetUS.com, where the game begins. Chris Simpson will join us here during hour 1. And, of course, we get Totally DIETZ in hour 2. But I got to start with a laugh.
Okay.
Why, you ask? Because I had someone say to me that my Golden State Warriors, and yes, I officially call them mine, along with my Bulls and my Spurs, are not going to do anything.
What's the person a Lakers fan?
Yes.
I figured.
Makes sense.
You know what the Warriors did last night?
What did they do last night?
Nothing.
They hung up 134 points on the Portland Trailblazers.
It's the Trailblazers, and it's early in the season.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Yes and yes, but dang it, I'm taking it.
This is amusing. I have to bring up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Shane, Dog, to answer your question, this is how we're going to start our day with the random musing of
Vicola.
Oh,
Go for it.
And I remember the dog asking a very poignant question. Does that remember when it used to be rare to score 100 plus points in a game?
Yep.
I remember that question.
Like, wasn't it a rarity to
Yep.
see points? Like, usually it would be one good offensive team, but you would have some defense.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the world has defense gone in the last 6 years?
Now
I'll
there's
tell you where it died with Jordan and Bryant.
I'll agree with that.
Not wrong.
This iteration of the NBA not just sucks, but it's gotten to be embarrassing to watch.
Yep. Let's take 43s a game as a team.
This has become nothing more than over-exaggerated games of horse. And I, for one,
it doesn't help. It doesn't help that not only is it just an over-exaggerated game of horse, but also it's just straight soft. I mean, look at Zach Edey. He tried to play his normal ball he played in college and fouled out 5 minutes into the second half.
It's ridiculous. I remember when hand checking was a thing. You had to put your body up on somebody. Remember how bad it was for Jordan?
You had to body up somebody.
Remember how bad it was for Jordan when he had to go through the hole and deal with the bad boys in the low post?
Yep.
Why is this not a thing anymore?
So you know what? And let me couple that with this. So you know what Jordan did? He got himself and his teammates in the weight room, and they got stronger. And they said, "All right, we'll figure this out." Go on, Victor.
And you wonder why you're looking at these players like, when I say Sharman Harden, and when I look at players like Joel Embiid.
Oh, dear Lord.
And Isaiah Williamson.
Joel Embiid. Dear God.
These guys who should be tough players, but they're playing in a soft league.
Soft.
You know, I think the biggest answer to the question why we don't see people go into the hole as much as often is the evolution of the game itself. It has turned into basically trying to hit jumpers now. People don't want to go to the hole because they're afraid of getting injured.
But
this is true.
This
is true.
That in itself is not terrible. Mm-hmm. But even in those situations, you still had guys that were D'ing you up pretty.
Yeah.
Even when
and here's the thing though. So many people want to blame Stephen Curry for this de-evolution. Yes, I had that word used toward me. De-evolution of the NBA. Listen, it's not his fault, nor Steve Kerr's, nor Klay Thompson's, that they took an anomaly and turned it into a weapon.
But they're not even the first team to do that.
Exactly. The Denver Nuggets were the first one to do that in 1990.
The Denver Nuggets
West had anyone?
The Denver Nuggets did it. The Orlando Magic used to do it. They used to basically surround Dwight Howard with a bunch of shooters, a bunch of snipers, to where they had.
They did the same with Shaq. They did the same with Shaq in his rookie years.
They sure did.
They basically
and look what Shaq.
Penny Hardaway, Anthony Bowie, to a point, John Koncak, veteran center. They surrounded Shaq with a lot of shooters. They did the same for Dwight Howard.
Look at the Lakers when they went on their title run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same thing with the Bulls in the second three-peat.
Yep.
Steve Kerr,
they got more. Steve Kerr, Judd Bushler, Ron Harper. They got more. They had more shooters because Jordan was getting older. Pippen was getting older. They had just brought in Luke Longley in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the center position established, but they had more shooters.
Too. But the problem I'm seeing is that but even then, like I said before, even the arc was well defended.
Yeah.
Even the arc, there was a guy putting his body on him like
23 feet 9 inches. You're never going, unless you were Steve Kerr or Ray Allen or Craig Hodges or Dale Ellis or those guys, you are not going to get a clean look.
Right.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller, thank you. Man, my wife would pop the back of my head if I forgot Reggie Miller.
Grant Hill.
And I mean, yeah. The
Joe
fact of the matter,
Joe Dumars.
the fact of the matter is nowadays people give you 2-3 feet.
Like,
I mean, really no defense out there anymore.
but like people think that this is more exciting because there's more high scoring, there's more scoring. It's like, yeah, but we liked it when the scoring was earned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it used to be rare to see guys pop off for 40 points a game.
Listen,
Right.
Nowadays, it's commonplace almost.
listen, Doug Moe was the first coach I ever knew of when I first started watching basketball that pushed the pace. And he did it with the Denver Nuggets back in the 80s. And then I ran into Frank Layden and the Utah Jazz, Cotton Fitzsimmons and the Phoenix Suns. Okay? There was a description for a while. The East is where you get bloodied. The West is where you run.
Yeah.
That moniker stayed with the NBA until 1995.
And now it's just like these guys want to do so much ISO ball and all these ball hand. Like, this ain't and one, guys. I get it. I miss and one. Trust and believe I do.
Mm-hmm.
But this ain't and one.
No, it's not.
You need to have some sort of protection. You need to have some sort of defense.
Listen, this is what the Warriors did last night in hanging 134 points on the Portland Trailblazers. Cole described it so well. It's the Princeton offense on steroids.
Right.
The Warriors want to push the pace. That has always been true since Steve Kerr showed up as the head coach. Now, this iteration of the Warriors, even more so, will beat you by a bunch of backdoor cuts.
Right.
They want to pass the ball. I mean, it gets to a point now with the Warriors. If they don't have 30 assists in the game, they don't win.
Right. And I like the fact that they're passing the ball. I like the fact that they're doing a bit more. I mean, I specialize as a range shooter when I used to play basketball.
Yep.
Okay. I used to and practice 3-pointers. So it's not like I dislike the 3-point shooting idea. It's just that there's no one getting up on you and saying you're going to have to earn this shot.
Earn this shot. Mm-hmm.
You got to earn this 2 or 3 points. And if you can't, and if I take you down, then your 3 points are going to come from the line.
Exactly.
If you get these points, you got to go to the line. You got to come from the line.
Well, unfortunately, today is not Wednesday, but I'll add this sentence to Victor's musing. You know who came in 2003 and pulled the rug out from the NBA.
Put up the graphic. Put up the graphic.
If you can find it.
I found it. Because.
Yes, LeBron, it is you. It has always been you. It is you now. And it's not only just you, it's your son too.
Oh,
forever, never, never. And the church say,
Amen.
Amen.
Now, let me ask this question, and I'm asking this of all of us basketball aficionados. When was the last time we had 9 people with 30 points on average to start a season?
Certainly not in my era.
Not in mine.
Certainly not in my era.
Right now, the first games of the season out of the way, there are 9 guys with 30 or more points to start a season.
I haven't seen. Look, I have not seen that. I can honestly say I haven't seen that since 1989, and that was only after a couple of games. And Jordan separated himself from everybody. But it was Jordan. It was Bird. It was.
I would have expected.
It was Barkley.
Yes,
and it was Barkley after a couple of games. It was Magic John. It was James Worthy. But it was guys like that that knew how to put the ball in the hole.
Patrick Ewing
definitely, before he slowed down and injuries got a hold of him. The last time I truly saw that, when people earned 30 points a game, to answer your question, Dog, was 1989. And even then, some averages went down below 30 while Jordan stayed up because that was statistically his best year.
well, like I said before, it's like literally you were on somebody. The hand checking was real. People were trying to swipe and get steals. But now, like Droid said, the way that the rules are too, because the NBA's got to take some responsibility on this. I can't put all the blame on LeBron, even though I'd like to.
Yeah.
This is also part of the NBA's fault. I know you want to keep people from getting injured. Believe me, I applaud that.
I applaud it too.
But just like I'm seeing in the NFL, I'm seeing and I've seen the NBA, is they're taking defense out of the hands of the players and putting it in the hands of the refs.
I hate that. And there's no lie to be found with that statement.
It seems like you have bad body odor, then you're getting called for a foul. You pass gas on somebody, that's going to be a foul.
No, that's going to be a tech.
That's going to be
that's going to be a tech, and the next one's an ejection.
By the way, anyone curious about those guys who's got the 30 points so far this season?
No, don't even say it.
Don't worry, LeBron's not on the list.
I don't care. I don't care if he is. I don't care if he's not. No.
And it props up, in my opinion, false scorers.
Thank you. Like James Harden.
Like James Harden. Like Joel Embiid.
Man, Joel Embiid is a bitch.
Okay. Like
I've said
Russell Westbrook.
What's Russell Westbrook?
Like Kyrie Herbal Tea.
Listen.
You mean like
I've said this about Kyrie. I've said this about Joel Embiid. I'm going to say it about Paul George, no matter how mad JJ gets at me. But in 3 words, y'all some bitches.
You mean also like Trae Young and Damian Lillard?
Yep.
Damian, I'll take. All right? Damian, I'll take. Trae Young is a fraud. And he's been a fraud since he came into the NBA. Trae Young is a fraud. Period.
It's just maddening that nowadays, instead of saying, man, remember that hard-fought game? That hard-fought game between the Spurs and the Sixers, or the Bulls and the Nuggets, or the Warriors and the Lakers, where it was like maybe 3 points that down. It was like 69 to 66 or 84 to 82. Now it's like 134 to 99.
Well, I say that I say this. One, do something to the players that are in the NBA right now. You made it to the next level. Now make your game better, especially defensively, and do something about it instead of bitching all the time.
Yeah.
Secondly, bring this league back to where it was in its heyday. And its heyday was the 80s. When people actually played basketball. Let me say it again. When people actually played basketball. I'll say it one more time. When people actually played basketball, doggone it.
That's another thing I will bring up.
We aren't paid to play defense. We're paid to play on offense. We're paid for points.
That's one more thing I want to bring up before I end this. It's very funny how everyone proclaims that this is the heyday of the NBA. This is where NBA is really watching.
Please.
And I'm like, hold on. How many times do y'all watch a game and then you go outside and play basketball?
No,
man, me and Victor used to do that so many times.
Man.
Me and listen, when I met Victor, when I met Victor in 2001, we would talk basketball for about an hour and a half, and then we'd have it over to the gym and play it.
Right. I remember back in the day when I would watch the Bulls smack whoever they were playing, and then my dad would grab not even say anything. I would hear the basketball bounce on the floor. We had hardwood floor at the time. And he would start bouncing the basketball, and I got shorts on.
You know what's happening. You know what's happening.
Cross the street, because the school was right there with the basketball court. They got the fresh nets and everything.
Man, Dad and I used to play ball in the basement. He would teach me the fundamentals of shooting the basketball. He would teach me the fundamentals of where to find. You know what? Let me say something, okay? And this applies to a certain group, and y'all know who the group is. But because it's Thursday, I cannot say the name out loud. Adrian Dantley played a better fundamental small forward than you know who.
Yeah.
Okay? Alex English played a better fundamental small forward than you know who. Larry frickin' Nance, who we had the chance of meeting in person, and such a nice guy.
Yep.
Such a wonderful, wonderful gentleman.
Yes, indeed.
Played a better fundamental small forward than you know who. I can name so many guys who played a better fundamental small forward than you know who. It's not even funny. And you know what, Victor? I'll close this out for you. Y'all want to see what basketball was? Let me take you back to 1989.
He looks to bring it in. He comes in and throws it away. The Bulls have it. Here comes Michael Jordan on the drive. 5 seconds. Jordan on the drive, right in the lane. 18-footer.
How much more of sports passing is about also? Who let this play? Which is courtesy of Sports Club. The date was February 16th, 1989 in Old Chicago Stadium. Look at some of the players who are in this game.
Milwaukee turned it over off the inbounds pass. And what happened is Cummings saved the ball. So they get it to Michael Jordan, wrap around the back. Takes it, looks for three. It's not there. Goes into free throw line. Up over Jack Sigma. What does he find? Nothing but points 49 and 50 for Jordan to give the Bulls a lead. 117 to 116. Michael loves it. This is their first lead in the second half. Remember, they were down 12 earlier in this fourth quarter. Michael Jordan has scored 27 of his 50 here in the fourth quarter. 1 tick of the clock left for Del Harris and the Milwaukee Bucks. If the ball goes out of bounds, they may be able to stop this situation. Because then if there's a defense. Now,
another one of our friends, Greg Hodges.
They're going to be watching for that timer to go after it. That ball's got to.
And look at how close those guys. Look at how close that 18-footer, in my opinion, because of how much pressure was on Mike, is far away more impressive than any dunk LeBron has done.
Period.
And look how close the score was.
Period. Doggone it. Period. See.
And I'm going to say this last thing.
I actually will say this, Victor.
Mm-hmm.
I want to point at a specific clip from recent times.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Dallas Mavericks versus Utah Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
With that beautiful passing play. With Doncic on the ground, passed it across to Kyrie. Kyrie threw it up for the dunk.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful sequence. Right. How do you, as Utah, shut up, Snowman? I'm not done talking. How do you, Utah, let that happen?
My response remains.
Good question.
And you know what? Joy poses a good point. A player is sitting on his ass.
Yeah.
And still able to get a pass off. Like Luka Doncic can. Like Kevin Johnson could. Like Mark Price could. Like Stephen Curry can. How do you allow that to happen as a defense? So, Droid, I take back my raspberry from a moment ago. You bring up a very good point.
You know what the thing my dad taught me, besides how to shoot the three? Taught me how to box out.
Listen, I had one simple statement whenever I played basketball and people dared me to shoot. Mm-hmm. I don't get paid to shoot. I get paid to beat people up in the post. And oddly enough, one of my first favorite shooting three of my favorite shooting big men, mm-hmm. Jack Sigma, Tom Chambers, and Bill Laimbeer. What I loved about Laimbeer, listen, I hated him when he played against the Bulls. Don't get it twisted, because I'm a Bulls fan. Mm-hmm. What I hated about Laimbeer is what made him so dangerous.
His shot.
Yep.
Shot. Exactly.
He had something that LBJ has never consistently developed. A jump shot.
I knew it. I read your mind.
Well,
What's
it's a given that
I said jump shot as well.
Shot.
Yep.
it's a given that LeBron's never developed that. In the 20 years plus he's been in the league, he's never had a decent J.
He's
How
always.
did you
I'll tell you
describe?
why he hasn't had a decent J is because he didn't go to college to try and improve it.
Oh,
Say that again, Droid, please.
I'll
Say
tell
that
you why LBJ doesn't have a good jump shot is because he never went to college to try and improve it. He just went straight into the NBA.
So, in other words, what Droid just said to all this to this certain group is that LBJ's jumper is nothing but
it's trash. It's a chicken wing. It is one of the. It's a dry chicken wing that's under the heat lamp at Jewel Osco since 9 in the doggone morning.
No, this is like Popeyes that's been sitting out for about 20 minutes.
As I said, it's nothing but a lot of. We gotta go to a break, but
Yes,
those
sir.
are the random musings of.
Gracias.
Dear bro, well, can't do it.
Yes, you can.
I can.
Yes. And I'll start it for you. Dear bronzexuals.
You. Dear bronzexuals being trained by bronzexuals. You.
I have bad news, Brian.
What?
Oh,
I have a bronze sexual coworker.
I'm
I
sorry.
am so sorry.
Listen,
Rip.
I've had plenty of them over the past 30 years. Hell, I've had plenty of them since Braun came into. You know, I'll share a story before we bring Chris Simpson on.
I was about
As
to
I
say,
said-
dude, I've got a bronzexual friend. What's your point? I have to smack him around.
We smack him around and tell him,
You fool!
I have. Trust me, he still don't listen.
no, they don't.
Nope.
No, they don't. Let's go to break. When y'all get back, Simpsons Football Chatter begins the football portion of the program as Thursday Night Football presents the Vikings and the Rams.
Ew.
Yeah,
This is 2022 vibes all over again.
you asked me that one.
I'm not touching that one with a 30-foot pole. Screw a 10-foot pole. And Droid, I love the shirt.
Read it and weep, NFL fans. You can hate the Chiefs, but they are still champions.
Listen, I don't hate the Chiefs.
You
I
know,
made that.
you know the majority of the league still.
Oh, I know.
for a reason.
The same way back in the 80s, the majority of the league hated the 49ers. Trust me, I get it. That's why I got an affinity for the Chiefs. Not to mention Patrick Mahomes is bleeping awesome. Back in a minute.
This is Snowman in the morning.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE. Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live! live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Whether it's the men's college game,
the way that this season has been going, yeah, anything is possible.
The women's college game,
And how passionate Ancient Reef was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
The WNBA,
AJ Williams stood at 1 and 2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young,
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmaker's blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts. Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
That kid joins us in the Fanatics feedback zone. He says, I actually wonder how Curry would fare in the 80s. Pretty damn good.
I think he
Dale Ellis and the bunch. Arku was the first one in. He talked about the Bulls. He said the Warriors will be competitive. I agree. And Jedi laughs at your comment about LeBron's jump shot. It's a chicken wing jump shot. And he'd also say, I'd say it's a Popeye's biscuit, but even a Popeye's biscuit is better than LeBron's jumper.
A Popeye's biscuit's more dangerous than LeBron's jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as far as like Curry being in the 80s, I think Curry would handle pretty well because he would at least have a lot of people running screens for him. And you got to remember, Reggie Miller was really good back in those days too.
Listen,
so it's not that shooters couldn't hang in the 90s. Just
I'll tell you, a point guard Curry would mirror in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them, actually.
Okay.
Kevin Johnson and Mark Price.
Okay.
Yes,
At a third, Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
I could see that.
So don't y'all come at me about how Curry would fail in the 80s. I just gave you 3 great examples of how he would succeed.
I don't think he was saying that he would fail. I was just saying, like, how would he fare? I think
Listen,
how you fare. And I think
people have flat out told me he'd fail.
Oh.
Really? Really? Then y'all don't know basketball like y'all don't know basketball.
But
and I'll leave it there.
Anyway.
Matter of fact, no, I'll leave it there. Because if I go any further, then I'll run out of time for our guest here. All of our guests appear via the Invader Coffee guest line. Go ahead, Victor.
Now, Snowman called me last night on his way home from DoorDash.
Yes, I did.
And he said, by the way, can you tell me who's playing tomorrow night?
I sure did.
And I said, okay, I'll go ahead and pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
And before I can get out Vikings and Rams, so it was like, oh, heck no. Oh, heck no. Let's just net with a 30-foot pole.
I did say that.
I was like, but why? He said, because both those things are a bunch of frauds. Not frauds, frauds.
Frauds. That's exactly what I said.
Vikings do
fine.
come in after a loss.
Yep.
I believe the Rams. Did the
Rams beat Vegas?
The Rams did win, which is
But
only
they
their second win of
Listen,
the season.
let's get some help in breaking this down, shall we?
Please. Mr. Simpson.
Chris Simpson joins us on the Invader Coffee guest line to talk Thursday night football and beyond. Good morning, Chris.
What's going on, guys? Good morning. How are you?
Mr. Simpson, I have a question.
Oh no.
I have an answer.
Why does Amazon decide to get the worst games on Thursday?
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Okay,
the
because
the Rams.
Let me put it this way. Let me put Victor's question inside of another question more succinctly.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell planned this matchup?
The trolls in the NFL scheduling room.
Use a troll.
Oh!
I mean, listen, Chris and I had a great call with Georgia and Texas on Saturday.
Yes, you guys did.
Okay?
Yeah, y'all did.
You know,
Then we looked at Chris and I talked offline. We looked at the Thursday game, and I'd swear we have not met each other in person, okay? But I swear, Chris gave me a look with the rock eyebrow at this game and went, wait a minute. Chris Simpson gave me a look and enacted Chris Basin saying,
"What in the all types of blue hell
was this?"
It seems like what they're doing is just like going on Madden and then doing a random pick of both teams and said, "This is what we're gonna have for Thursday night."
Okay, Chris.
I don't think Madden would curse us with this, though.
Mr. Simpson, when I talked to Victor last night on my way home from work, and I asked him what was the Thursday night game, and he told me Vikings and Rams, every part of me bristled.
That's pretty bad. If all of you has to bristle, that's not healthy.
Is there anything of note between these two teams?
I mean, look, Minnesota's coming off that loss. They did everything they could to win, but the Lions were better when it mattered. And like I told Bryant, I think the Lions are the most complete team in the National Football League.
They are
right now. But Minnesota, they've gotten off to a great start. Sam Darnold and Brian Flores have been the MVPs of this team, and all it took for Sam Darnold was to find a coach who not only could cater to his skill sets and his strengths, but most importantly, believe in him, because he was in a bad situation with the Jets. Carolina was no better, and San Francisco, he really took a year to learn and how to really be an NFL quarterback. And look at him now, but he also uses every weapon around him. I think that's the most important thing. And as far as the Rams, injuries have decimated this team left and right. No Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua has been out. Rams don't really have that much of a running game as they did when they won it all a couple of years ago. And then remember, this is their first full year without a future Hall of Famer in Aaron Donald. You can tell his presence truly is missed.
And with all that, and them coming off of a win against the Raiders, and they come into this one tonight against the Vikings, who are seething after losing one at home against the Detroit Lions. For the Rams, a lot more hangs in the balance for them, does it not?
It definitely does, because you're 2-4. You get to 3-4. Okay, there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, but if you're 2-5 and you lose this game, then you're kind of in a deeper hole, and it's going to be tougher for you to dig yourself out. This is a must-win for the Rams, I think. And then with Minnesota, short week, you're coming off a loss, and I don't think people realize what a short week does. Everything is condensed. So normally you have practice on Wednesday or Tuesday. You have walkthroughs, and you have meetings on Thursday and Friday. Nah, you're studying film on Monday. It's practice Tuesday, and then you're probably leaving for the city that you're going to play in on Wednesday for Thursday night.
Yeah, because and to have that kind of wrinkle thrown in your schedule, and we can still consider this the early part of the season with the Vikings and Rams kicking off this week. Let me pose a question that Chris says a lot, and I pose it to the side of the Rams. What scares you about this team?
When they're healthy, Puka Nacua. I'll say that much because
I'll give you that.
he reminds me of a more explosive Wes Welker that can take the top off his own. He's small like Wes, maybe a little bit bigger, but he can go inside. He can work the outside. He can take the top off his own. I mean, he came in and had an immediate impact. Cooper Kupp hasn't been the same guy since 2021. He was undisputedly the best wide receiver in the National Football League. You know, won that triple crown and then won the Offensive Player of the Year under Kevin O'Connell, who happens to be the Vikings head coach now. So you can't sit here and tell me you don't think he doesn't know what the Rams are gonna run and what kind of game plan he's gonna put in.
Oh yeah, and you're right. Sam Darnold is a much better quarterback now. It took Kevin McConnell to believe in him, but it also took Kevin McConnell to give him something that Sam Darnold has never had, save maybe the year he learned in San Francisco: weapons.
Yeah, and he's utilizing each one, whether it's Jalen Naylor, whether it's Jordan Addison, or Justin Jefferson. He's getting the ball out, and then he has a consistent running game. So, you know, Minnesota's been pretty good. You know, I think Aaron Jones was a sneaky yet underrated move.
And how big has Aaron Jones been? How big has Aaron Jones been to this Minnesota offense?
Oh, it's huge because he adds a different shield of versatility. I'm talking about a guy who can truly impact the line of scrimmage in multiple ways. As a runner, as a receiver, he can block. You know, he's a leader amongst the younger weapons. I mean, he's been around for quite some time. I really liked him when he was with Green Bay, and I would brag to this guy about Cole. I would brag to this guy about this guy. It's Cole Johnson.
Yes, you would.
He saw what I saw. He's like, yeah, Chris, I see exactly what you see. He just, you know, he's a very sneaky good weapon for the Minnesota Vikings or any offense you put him on.
Yeah, and you used to brag about him to me. In fact, you are one of the first ones to pointed him out to me.
Yeah.
And how he fit into that Packer offense until the latter part of Aaron Rodgers' run. And you said this to me also, and Cole repeated it, and y'all just said aloud what I was thinking. The latter part of Aaron Rodgers' run in Green Bay, Aaron Jones got what? What's the word I'm looking for? Misused.
Yeah.
He was. You're absolutely right. You know, see, with it being such a pass happy game, I think running the football kind of goes out the window. But look, you still got to run the ball. Plain and simple. You still have to run the ball. It opens up the passing game.
It does, and that's how the West Coast offense was born.
Yeah, it was.
All right, that's what everybody doesn't understand. And Lord knows every gentleman on this panel has talked about it. Dietz has talked about it with us. The West Coast offense was born out of running the football. And again, the godfather of the West Coast offense, Mr. Bill Walsh, set the whole thing up. You got to run the football first.
I mean, all forms of football offense starts with running the football, whether it's the West Coast or any other, because running the football facilitates everything.
It does. It definitely does, because it forces a defense to be honest, and it forces the defense to put additional guys in the box, whether it's additional linebackers, safeties, defensive backs. And then what can you do as a quarterback? Use your play action and throw over the top. And no team has done that better than the Detroit Lions.
Absolutely. And the Vikings are trying to stay up top of the division, but now they trail in that division. And now you have the Is this a must-win game for the Vikings as well to keep pace in that NFC Central division?
Yes and no. I say yes because you want to bounce back. You've won every game up until then. So I look at it from that aspect. But even if they do win and the Lions win on Sunday, which they should, the Lions still own the head-to-head tiebreaker over Minnesota.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst and the best that the Vikings can do is split in those two meetings. Since they got one more coming up in Detroit, but that was a big one that the Vikings let get away on Sunday.
It definitely was. Again, Detroit, they were the better team when they had to be. I know it looked tough for them defensively without Aiden Hutchinson, but they're going to have to play collectively and as a team.
Mm-hmm. And they're doing just that. They are doing just that. Looking at this matchup, it's now time for our keys to the game, and they're driven by Nissan, one of the official vehicles of Snowman Multimedia. We turn it over to Chris Simpson to identify 3 keys to tonight's game.
Well, I think for Minnesota, you got to put the past behind you, and you got to focus on the now. I think that's the most important key in this business, is being able to turn the page. That's what you have to do. Don't dwell on what happened. Get back into the winning column. So that's number 1. Number 2, there's not a soul on LA that can stop Justin Jefferson. So feed him the ball early on and find the best possible mismatch with him. And when he gritties, that means he just did something. And then number 3 for Minnesota, keep establishing Aaron Jones. Establish him, run the football in the teeth of this Rams defense, because the Rams have really struggled to stop the run because 99 isn't there anymore. And then as far as the Rams are concerned, they have to keep Matthew Stafford protected, because Brian Flores, he's going to throw a lot of exotic looks.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to throw a linebacker. He'll throw a safety blitz. He'll throw a corner blitz. So that's number 1. Number 2, you got to keep the ball protected. This is a very opportunistic Minnesota defense.
Mm-hmm.
If they literally force turnovers at any given time, and can the Rams score early? That's one thing I'm looking forward to seeing as well. Can the Rams punch the ball in the end zone and try to take control of this game early?
Those are our keys to the game, driven by Nissan, official vehicle of Snowman Multimedia and Snowman Multimedia Sports. Chris will join me again on Saturday, a doubleheader that we have in tow for you. First at 3:30, it's a big one for the University of Illinois as they take on the top-ranked Oregon Ducks. That's a 3:30 start. And at 7:30, we're going down to Texas again. This time, it's the LSU Tigers and the Texas A&M Aggies. And I want to stay there for a moment with Chris. 6 years ago, those two teams got together. And 6 years ago, those two teams put up 146 points.
They did. And I could see the same type of game on Saturday. LSU has really impressed me ever since their first game of the year. Me having a chance to cover and break that one down. LSU, USC. I look at, what Garrett Nussmeier has been able to do. And Kyron Lacey is one of the more underrated weapons, not just in the SEC, but I think in college football. Texas A&M, same thing. They've improved greatly since week 1. Got punched in the mouth by the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, but ever since then, they've regrouped. Last time I saw them play, they were playing Missouri, and they punched Missouri right in the mouth.
They sure did.
Yeah, Connor Wegman came in, didn't miss a beat, spread the ball around. And Texas A&M has actually one of my favorite defensive players in the country, Nick Scorton. He transferred over from Purdue to Texas A&M. Big guy, and Texas A&M has a thing for finding these defensive standout players. They had one in Von Miller, had one in Myles Garrett, and look at what those two have become in the NFL. I think Nick could be the same thing.
Key to winning for Texas A&M.
Can they grind the game out? Can they make it ugly? Can they force LSU to run the football? Can they score early? Can they keep that crowd in the game? Because the 12th man in Kyle Field, that's a tough place. It's a tough place to go and get a win.
Yeah, 100,000 plus, and key to win for LSU.
can they take care of the ball? Because when Garrett Nussmeier turns the ball over, it's a momentum killer. Turnovers and penalties, like we always mention, are truly things that can kill your momentum. And can LSU get somewhat of a running game going? Because that's been the problem for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, let's turn to the feature afternoon game, I beg your pardon, at Autzen Stadium, Eugene, Oregon. Oregon, the number 1 team. They face a very gritty, a very tough, and a very tested now under Brett Bielema, a very tested Illinois Fighting Illini team that just knocked off the defending national champions. Let's start with Illinois. What has impressed you about them so far this year?
They stay within their box. They're not a team that jumps at you. They're not flashy. They run the ball down your throat. They move the ball up and down the field effectively. Luke Altmaier has the command and control of this offense, and defensively, they'll hit you. I mean, they'll play hard hitting physical defense.
And about the Oregon Ducks that picked up a big win over Ohio State, and then they win their next game. They're sitting on top of the polls right now. What's impressed you about them?
They're not the flashy offense that they were all those years ago under Chip Kelly. You remember it was speed, no huddle, but they still did it with balance. Now they're more of an effective offense that knows how to pick their spots, when and where. Dylan Gabriel, he's a veteran quarterback that can impact the game not only as a runner, but as a passer as well. They have weapons. They play defense. But I think the thing that impresses me about them is their fight. And I saw that against Ohio State a couple of weeks ago. Every time Ohio State will punch the ball in the end zone and come away with points, Oregon will respond. So this team is never out of a game. And I think Dan Lanning is one of the 5 best coaches in the country.
All right, keys to win. Key player for Illinois is?
Pat Bryant. He's a 6'3", 220-pound possession receiver that can catch the ball in traffic, but can also work the outside, work the numbers, go over the top. And this is a pretty good Oregon secondary that can press you, that can jam you at the line of scrimmage. But he's a bigger guy, and he's just going to have to win a lot of those one-on-one battles.
And the key to win for the top-ranked Ducks?
They just have to stay within their lane, keep the crowd involved, get after Luke Altmaier. But I think the key to this game for Oregon is going to be the trenches. Can Oregon's pass rush, which is pretty good, can they attack a very strong Illinois offensive line that barely gives up sacks?
Yeah, and they kept Luke Altmaier clean. That was something you said to me before the matchup against Michigan when we had a chance to talk. The one key that you said that Illinois had to do, they had to keep Luke Altmaier upright, and they had to keep his uniform clean. Mission accomplished.
Absolutely.
That's Chris Simpson and Simpson's Football Chatter, and all of our guests appear via the Invader Coffee guest line. Chris Simpson brings the Football Chatter, and proud to say, keep forgetting to fix that. It's presented by Fanatics, officially licensed everything. Mr. Simpson, always a pleasure. I will talk to you, my friend, on Saturday afternoon.
No problem. I'll see you then.
Gotta love it. I gotta fix that one sound. Dang it, Fanatics.
Now, before we head to halftime, we still have a little pressing matter to start the predictions off.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do, because we got to predict the Vikings-Rams game.
No, we don't.
What, you're going to take a mulligan this early?
Who gives 2/5 of a half of a good damn about the Vikings and the Lambs?
You already knew that was going to happen, Shane.
I'm just doing my job here.
I know you are. I know you're doing your job, and I'm doing mine. All right. This time, Shane, you lead off the predictions.
Of course, the lines are brought to you by BetUS.com. When the games begin, it's Vikings, it's Rams. Vikings are favored by 3. The over-under set at 48. It's the Rams, for crying out loud. Where else am I going to go? Of course I'm taking friggin' Minnesota. I'm not an idiot.
Okay. Now I'm going to play a sound that Victor can't stand.
I already know what it is. Go ahead.
There's your answer.
Yeah, I got to go Skull Vikings. I just can't trust the Rams, man.
Who can?
And I want to because they did me right with the pick, for playmaker, but
yep, they did.
I just cannot consistently pick on them because it seems like you just wait for the other shoe to drop.
Isn't it?
You just wait
for that again, Victor.
He's like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, when they gonna mess up this time?
And how?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Finish it, droid.
He's falling asleep. It's not even game time, and he's falling asleep.
It's not even Sunday yet, and he's half asleep.
Yep, I get it.
All right. I think that will make it a clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Yep.
Yep.
Minnesota, thank you.
Oh, I see what Droid's doing. May as well let it run.
Welcome to halftime, everybody.
In this game, Skull Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings, run up.
Meanwhile, I think we've lost them. Here we go.
He's back.
Had to think that was an alarm of mine once upon a time.
Yeah,
it's halftime. And Victor used to beat my ass every time that went off.
Oh, yeah.
Later in the hour, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Dietz will join us, and we are all making predictions. And by the way, we've got 2 wild card games to call.
Yep. Yep.
2 of them.
Yep. 2 of them.
The total is up to 15 this week, boys.
What was your question?
Do this to me.
Shut up.
Do this to me.
You know what? My son asked the same question, and I will respond the same way I did to him before he put me in a headlock. Shut up, child.
We've hit halftime, everybody. Dietz will join us coming up. We're back in a deuce.
This is Snowman in the morning.
Whether it's the men's college game,
The way that this season has been going, anything is possible.
the women's college game,
And how passionate Ancient Reef was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
the WNBA,
AJ Wilson on Twitter 1 and 2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young.
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmakers blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze guard.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like Boomstick Lady. No free throw is safe from the roar of her sticks. SeatGeek helps her find a seat in the direct eye line of the shooter so she can sit where her boomsticks make the biggest boom. Everybody okay? SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete!
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the Sertoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Oh yeah! Second hour, Snowman in the morning is here. And we are not going to waste any time.
Passionate.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Unflinching.
Let's go back to losing. Parking was easier.
Unrelenting.
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight.
Totally.
This one has a chance.
DIETZ.
That's not just a murmur, that's a full-blown fibrillation.
Open the doors of Valhalla. Chris DIETZ is here, as he is with us every Thursday morning to talk all things college football. Morning, DIETZ.
Morning, guys. What's going on?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It was a rough weekend. I had a wedding. I had a wedding this weekend, so it was always a fun time.
Well, yeah, weddings are fun. I know mine was, especially with all the people that were there. But the thing about my wedding was it occurred on a Tuesday, as y'all remember, because I honored my dad's birthday, June 25th of 2019. All right, DIETZ, I cannot use the word you used toward me after Georgia beat Texas on Saturday night, but it was that kind of show with all that happened in college football last weekend.
This was possibly the worst weekend for college football. I mean, for what happened in Texas, the Longhorns should be ashamed of themselves. The SEC should be ashamed of themselves.
Yep.
The referees should be ashamed of themselves. Everyone involved in that. And this could have cataclysmic effects because everybody saw that everybody had eyeballs on this game. And everybody just saw, hey, if we get our crowd in enough of a frenzy, we can get a call changed.
And that's exactly what happened.
That's a disaster. And that goes beyond. It was the right thing to reverse the call.
Yep.
But once they started throwing stuff on the field, you can't do it.
No.
You just have to go, you know what? We cannot have that image of the fans threw stuff on the field and we changed the call.
Because now it's going to set the precedent that any team can do it. And now the fan bases are going to have that in their heads like, hey, maybe we can alter the game to our favor now.
Right. And that's exactly the way it looked when Chris Simpson and I were calling the game, and they clearly said interception, and then they called pass interference. But then there was like a 10-minute delay, people throwing stuff on the field. And Texas, you should be ashamed of yourselves for allowing that to happen for allowing that to happen with your fans. Bottlegate anybody? Now they get a call reverse, but they still got socked in the mouth.
The last thing you want to be is compared to Cleveland in football season.
Dear God, yes.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a bad look, and the game was enough. I mean, the game was exactly what we talked about last week on this program. Was, can Texas take a punch? And we saw they got punched in the mouth, and it was Buster Douglas hitting Mike Tyson. That's the kind of punch they got.
It was repeated punches. It was repeated. They got repeatedly punched. And I said something during the broadcast on Saturday, and Shane, you caught it. All right. Matter of fact, everybody that tuned in caught it when I said, whoever scores first in this game, because there was definitely a feeling out process, will lift the lid off this place. And wouldn't you know it, Georgia scored first, and they kept punching him in the mouth, DIETZ.
And defense, just Georgia's defense just socked him in the mouth, and it was, like I said, mouth guard out. Texas couldn't get off the mat.
Right.
This is like watching Rocky Balboa go off against an aging Apollo Creed.
Very much an aging Apollo Creed. And is this? You know, we got 3 questions for Dietz. We'll do that. We'll do that next segment. But now let's go to our top 15. This is Dietz's top 15, and it's presented by BetUS.com. We reviewed the game of the week that everyone was watching, which was Georgia and Texas. Congrats to Georgia for the win. You will see both teams in this top 15, but we start at 15, and this team has a big game coming up this week. That's the Texas A&M Aggies.
Yeah, the Aggies are slowly crawling their way back in it. Of course, opening loss to Notre Dame, and now they've won 5 straight. So you've got to look at this team, and this team is going to go by the way of the quarterback.
Number 14 is the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, well, Alabama is always going to be in the hunt. It was tough. It's going to be tough to keep them out of any kind of contention because they have that win over Georgia. Their losses were I said this to you right after the game. They're 5-0 against all 49 states. They just happen to be 0-2 against the state of Tennessee.
They lost to Vanderbilt and they lost to Tennessee. At 13, it's Droids Hoosiers of Indiana.
I don't know what you mean, Droids. If I'm gonna pick a team in college football, it's gonna be K-State. I'm sorry.
Nope, it's Droids Hoosiers at 13.
What Indiana is doing right now, it's remarkable, and for them to be undefeated and where they're at, they've got everything in front of them.
They sure do, including a trip to Indianapolis should they continue to run the table. At 12, we have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah, the Irish, the same thing. They've got that win over Texas A&M, so they've got that in their back pocket. And as long as Texas A&M keeps staying viable, they're going to be looked at okay. Their schedule, they don't have much coming up. I mean, we're going to talk. We'll probably talk about them later on. They do have a game with Navy coming up that is surprisingly a good game because of how well Navy's doing. But other than that, you look at their schedule, it's an easily manageable schedule.
It really is. At number 11, we go to Utah and find the BYU Cougars.
The Cougars found a way to win on Friday night. They had no business winning that game, and somehow they pull it out. That's the magic of this team, and that's going to be the thing that keeps them. They cannot afford to stumble anywhere. They have to be undefeated, otherwise they're going to get bounced out of this thing.
At number 10, we find the Iowa State Cyclones. Talk about a team that shouldn't have won.
The same thing goes for Iowa State. If they lose, and this is what the Big 12 has to be so scared of this, that if either one of these teams loses, they're going to struggle to get in.
Mm-hmm. They are. At number 9, we find the LSU Tigers.
LSU, again, Brock Nussmeier, love this kid at quarterback. He's so big. His arm is so good, and they have the weapons to go get it. So I love watching this team play, and we're going to see them play a big game this weekend.
Yes, we do. We see them at Texas A&M in a game that I'll watch. At number 8, speaking of Tigers, we go to the ACC and we find the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, Clemson, same deal with Clemson as I talked about with Texas A&M. Yeah, the opening weekend lost to Georgia. Since then, they've been on fire. So you've got to keep them around. And when you look at teams like this, they fit the mold of what I'm looking for when I rank my teams.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, but teams lost." It's not about who you lose to. It's when you lose, how you lose, and who you lost to.
Yes.
They lost to Georgia. That's not a knock against them.
No, it's not. When you lose to the Dogs, you can't count that as a knock against them because it's the Dogs. 2, it's Kirby Smart, like Chris Dietz always says to me off the air, and they're always going to be hanging around. To Columbus we go. At number 7, we find the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, the Buckeyes. The only reason they're down here, and I know a lot of people say, "Oh, their only loss is Oregon." It's not about who Ohio State's lost to. They haven't beaten anybody yet. They have not beaten a single top team yet. But they do have Penn State coming up. They do have Michigan on the schedule. They've got, I'm sure they have some of the Pac-12 guys coming up. So they've got those guys on the schedule. They just have to figure out a way to beat them. But right now, you can't put them anywhere because they don't have the wins that everybody else has.
At number 6, we find Cam Ward and the Miami Hurricanes.
And this is where that falls in. And again, I'm gonna go back to this every time we do one of these. It's gonna be, who have you beaten to get there? Their best win came this weekend at Louisville. That's not gonna cut it when you look at all these other top teams.
It really won't. To number 5 we go, and we find the Tennessee Volunteers.
And this is why I say that. Even though the Vols lost against Arkansas, Tennessee just beat Alabama. That's better than any win on Miami's schedule. So even though they have a loss, they still have wins that are way better than anything Miami has.
True. Very true. I can dig that. That's why I love your rankings. At number 4, we find the once beaten Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, the Longhorns. Look, I know they dropped farther in the national rankings. They dropped really far up. Why you would punish a team for playing a team like Georgia? That's not a punishment. And if anything, they should be vaulted up there because they played that game.
Right. I agree.
What we want to see in college football. We want to see the top teams playing each other and having it be like, okay, they played each other, the game happened, we'll take it by that. But when you put them against other teams that haven't played anybody, they lost to Georgia. Georgia's a good team. I don't know how.
They got a big one coming up at Vanderbilt this Saturday. Dog, you had a point to make.
I was actually going to say, dealing with Georgia, not Georgia, but Ohio State, if they beat Oregon, where would they be now?
Would they be top 5?
If they had beaten Oregon, probably still looking at them at 1 or 2. One of those spots, probably 2, just based on the fact that Georgia has beaten Texas and Clemson, who are both in my top 10 rankings.
Yeah. At number 3, we have the Penn State Nittany Lions. They got a big one coming up this weekend.
And again, they're kind of falling into the same category, but they have just looked better on the field than I've seen these other teams, but they haven't beaten anybody either. They can easily be jumped and easily be knocked down if they lose a game.
At number 2, we find the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, the Oregon Ducks, even though we said it last week when we watched the game, we said it, they did not beat Ohio State. Ohio State beat themselves.
They beat themselves.
But in the record book, it's still in there as a W, so they get credit for that. And just because of that, they fall into the number 2 spot.
And at the number 1 slot, go Dogs.
Yeah, I just said it. Georgia has beaten Texas, and they beat Clemson to open the season. And their one loss, they had the lead with like 50 seconds to go at Alabama.
They did. And then Alabama came up with a miracle touchdown.
The same logic goes. You want those games to be played.
Yes.
If you're a college football fan, you cannot reward teams for playing nobody.
Right.
That's going to kill this sport. The sport has to be, we want to see the top teams play each other. We want to see we don't want to see it affect anybody's status, because then you'll never get these games.
True. That's DIETZ's Top 15 presented by BetUS.com. Pause for a break. When we come back, 3 questions for DIETZ for week 9, and then we will get into our picks. And brother, we got a lot of them. Let's take a break. Totally DIETZ continues in a deuce.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high-potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like Boomstick Lady. No free throw is safe from the roar of her sticks. SeatGeek helps her find a seat in the direct eye line of the shooter so she can sit where her boomsticks make the biggest boom. Everybody okay? SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete! 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 Delete!
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the Sertoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
We were always hippies at heart, I guess, and that was one way that we showed it before we became full-time RVers.
Yeah, we were definitely living small and minimally.
What made us decide to go with Battleborn was everyone from their top leadership team down to their service department helped us so much the whole way through. Our relationship with Battleborn is so much more than business. And me and Dennis love to jam together. We've played together multiple times, and that's been an awesome transition. Be able to learn so much more about the business. Also, just make some awesome friends.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Well, we had 3 questions planned for Dietz, but time has flown by, so we're only going to have one. And that one question is this. Is this the last stand for Alabama this year?
It's not the last stand. I mean, you look at the teams they lost. You look at the games they lost. They have to shore some things up defensively. It's definitely their defensive backs need help. But you look at the schedule ahead of them, they can still make the SEC championship game.
How would they be able to do that?
If they win out, they will have wins over Ole Miss. They'll have wins over LSU. They'll have wins over Texas A&M. They'll have wins over Texas. All of those teams are in front of them, and they'll win their division. They still get to the SEC championship game. So everything's still in front of them. Their only losses were on the West Division. They have not lost in their division. And they can run the table in their division and still go to the championship game.
Is everything also still in front of Georgia?
Well, like I said, I got Georgia at number 1 on my list, and Georgia's in the driver's seat until Tennessee shows me that they can beat Georgia, which I don't think they can, even in Knoxville.
I don't think so either.
Even in Knoxville, I don't think they can topple Georgia. It's going to take a lot to beat Georgia, and we saw that from Alabama. Alabama ran up 30 points on them, and Georgia was able to come back. So everything is still there everything's still there for both those teams.
All right, let's take a look at DIETZ's games to watch. We'll start in Autzen Stadium. Number 20, Illinois, a grinded-out team versus the fast-paced Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, this will be a contrast of styles, and it's nice to see Illinois, back in contention. Back at being talked about for once, finally in the Big Ten for good reasons.
For good reasons, thank you. For good reasons.
But being at Oregon is such a tough place to play.
Yeah.
And this is not Ohio State, but Illinois. No. If you have the chance, kick the field goal.
Yes.
That's all you got to do.
Yes. Do not do what Ohio State did and run right down the middle of the field with no timeouts and time running out. Take the points. Please take the points. Please take the points. All right. One of the other games DIETZ wanted to look at, and all of the rest are in the SEC. Let's go through them quickly. You got number 5 Texas at 25th ranked Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Let's see how Texas bounces back. Vanderbilt got to push because they beat Alabama. I think this game is way too much. I think Texas is way too much for him.
LSU and Texas A&M. Remember, 146 points 6 years ago.
Yeah, this could be one of those games. One of those 7 overtime. One of those 7 overtime
games. Right.
To have that.
My wife and I stayed up and watched that complete game. It was one of the times I visited her down in Terre Haute before I moved in, and we watched that game. We were about to go to bed at the end of the 4th quarter, but then they said overtime. I looked at Jody, she looked at me, and we were like, "Okay, we got to see the finish of this." Last but not least, just talked about it. Missouri at Alabama.
And you just said it. Is this the last stand? This is the last stand for Alabama. They can't afford another loss, but they have to win out. They have to win out their schedule.
Yep.
If they want to have a shot at making the playoff.
Absolutely. They need to win out. Now, old dog's going to be proud of me because we have enough time for all of the picks that we are going to do. The picks are presented by BetUS.com. Shane's got the numbers. We've got the games. Go for it, big dog.
And before we get going, of course, the standings sit with me currently 2 games above both Snowman and Droid. Victor and DIETZ are sitting in the back of the car wondering what in the hell's going on up front because we're all laughing at them. But this week is going to change things because we have a total of 15 games to predict.
Yep.
And we're going to start it off with number 17, Boise State, on the road to UNLV. Boise's a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under is set at a staggering 65.5. Snowman, lead it off.
I'll make this simple. I'm going with Boise State, and I'm going over on the points. I love what the Broncos are doing. I've always loved Boise State as my wild card team. Going with the Broncos, going with the over.
DIETZ?
Boise State needs this game, and they need every game to stay in the hunt. So I'm going with Boise State.
Right.
I've been just overall impressed by UNLV's defense. Every week they prove me wrong. Jackson Woodard having an amazing season. I love UNLV to all heart, but nobody's getting past Ashton Genty. So give me Boise State.
And Ashton Genty, I think, is going to be the upset Heisman Trophy winner. Victor?
Yeah, I'm going to go Boise State. I've seen a lot from them, and I'm very, very impressed. And I'm going to go over for this one.
That makes it
clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Boise. UNLV's got great defense, but Boise State's offense is too high octane. I'm sorry, UNLV. It ain't your weekend.
To Bloomington, Indiana, we go for this one.
Washington on the road to number 13, Indiana. Indiana is favored by 6.5. The over-under set at 53.5. Snowman, kick it.
Man, the Hoosiers have proved me wrong 3 separate times. I will not make that mistake again. And it's my wife's alma mater. Should have known better. Going with the Hoosiers and over on the points.
DIETZ.
Washington has been a killer for all of these Big Ten teams. Michigan went into Washington, came out with the L. I'm gonna roll with the Huskies. I think the Huskies stay hot against these classic Big Ten teams, and so I'm going with Washington.
Good.
Lost last week to Iowa. Well, not last week. They lost 2 weeks ago to Iowa. 48-16. I picked them that week. Never again. Give me the Hoosiers.
Vic.
Hoosiers could come in like a house of fire, so I'm going to go with the hot hand and go with the Hoosiers.
I got the Hoosiers. They're too smoldering right now. Washington may be a Big Ten killer, but they're not taking down this team.
All right. We go to Central Florida for this one.
This one is going to be one of the barn burners, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. It's BYU. It's UCF. UCF is favored by 1.5. The over-under set at 55.5. Snowman, it's close.
I can't pick against BYU, nor can I pick against the points. I can't do it. I want to do it because UCF is sitting right there, and I rode with them in 2017 all the way to what should have been a national championship, at least a national championship appearance. But this time I can't. I got to go with the BYU Cougars.
DIETZ.
Yeah, I gotta ride with BYU as well, even though it's a long trip. That is a long trip from Provo all the way down to Central Florida. But this isn't the same Central Florida team. They're not running and gunning as they used to. And that I think is going to keep BYU in the game. Their defense, I love that BYU defense.
Good.
Give me the Cougars.
What did I talk about earlier with the random musings? Defense. That's why I'm going with BYU.
Yes.
Sweep it.
All right. To Tuscaloosa we go. 21th-ranked Missouri against 15th-ranked Alabama. This is the last stand for the Crimson Tide.
And the Crimson Tide's favored by 14 with the over-under set at 54.5. I don't know, man. Bama's on the ropes.
And I say Missouri delivers the knockout punch. I'm taking the upset. It's going to be stupid of me to do, and my wife has laughed at me until an upset actually happens. I have not been good at my prognostications as I was once upon a time, but I don't care. I love picking these, and I'm going with the upset. I'm picking Mizzou to deliver the knockout punch.
DIETZ.
Where's this game being played?
Tuscaloosa.
It's in Alabama.
All right, so it's not in the state of Tennessee, so I'm going with Alabama.
Good.
Who has Missouri really even beat? That's worth noting.
I don't
They're
know.
still 21 because they're 6-1, but they got dominated by Texas A&M, an actually good team in the SEC. This is their second good team in the SEC. They played. I'm going to go with Bama just because Missouri hasn't really proved themselves.
Vic?
Out the way. I'm going to hate myself in the morning. I'm going to go with the Crimson Tide.
Using one of my favorite cartoon lines.
I do not like Bama, but I think Bama, with their desperation, is going to become a very good propellant for them.
You rat. Using one of my
Bama is on the mat, and I got Mizzou delivering the Chuck Liddell knockout.
Yeah, I think Mizzou's going to deliver the knockout punch. Speaking of which, this is a desperate game for my Northwestern Wildcats.
Iowa's favored by 14. Over-unders only at a mere 37.5. They got this being heavily one-sided, it seems.
Screw it. Dave Bennett, Bring me a victory. Going with the Cats.
Dates.
Cade McNamara has seen too much football. I gotta stay with him. And as we always say, go Iowa.
Yes. Yes. That's how I met Dietz in the first place.
The winner of this game is everybody who watches quarter number 1 when it ends.
Yep.
Best tradition in college football, hands down. When they look at the cancer room, it's the best thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yep.
It is.
It is. I've seen it up close in an empty Kinnick Stadium and in a full Kinnick Stadium. I've had the chance to see it. Downstairs to Victor.
I'm going Northwestern. I'm going to ride this one all the way out, but I'm going with the Cats.
Right.
I picked against Northwestern multiple times, and I've been right every single time. Give me Iowa.
Oh, boy.
Dogs and cats usually don't get along, but I don't mind getting a claw for this one. I'm taking Northwestern.
To Nashville we go. It's the Texas Longhorns and the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Texas is favored by a staggering 18.5. The over-under is set at 52.5.
So Texas will score 53. I got the Longhorns in a whitewash.
Dietz?
Yeah, I think Texas is mad. They're mad after last week, and I think they're going to come out and play better. And Vanderbilt doesn't have the Georgia defense, so I think Texas rolls.
Good.
The last time that people decided to doubt Vanderbilt, Alabama came tumbling down. And you can't blame the coaching on that. That was just all Vanderbilt dominating, playing their game how they want to play it. And we know about SEC teams in the state of Tennessee. I'm going horns down.
For the second straight week, he goes horns down. Victor?
As much as I'm impressed by Vanderbilt and how they've been playing, I'm not going against the Longhorns. Horns up on this one.
And finish it off.
Texas is mad as hell, and they ain't going to take it no more. Texas is going to club Vanderbilt.
Yep. To Miami we go. At Joe Robbie Stadium, it's the Florida State Seminoles and the Miami Hurricanes.
Undefeated Hurricanes are favored by 21. The over-under set at 54.5. Do we really need to figure this one out?
This is not going to be close. Miami.
I think Dietz will sum it up when we get down to him.
Sum it up, Dietz.
You know how this game is going to end. Wide right. It's going to be wide right some way. Some way, somehow, this game always ends on a field goal. It doesn't matter what the records are between these two teams. It does not matter. It always ends on a field goal. I'm taking Florida State. And I'll take the points because this is going to be a close game.
I don't think so. This is going to be close.
Droid, what you got?
In the past, we've always seen Florida State and Miami play each other to hell and back.
Yes.
Every single time. It doesn't matter if Miami's having a bad season. Didn't matter if Florida State was having a bad season.
Right.
So, just like Dietz says, it's going to end on a field goal. Give me Florida State.
Victor.
I'm going to actually go with the Canes on this one. I think they stay undefeated.
Too much Cam Ward. Miami.
At least this Cam actually knows how to throw a football longer than 10 yards.
Miami in a rout.
At least this Cam knows how to throw a football longer than 10 yards, unlike another Cam we know.
Here's our first shot at Cam Newton here on Snowman in the Morning.
Let's go to Wallace Wade Stadium in my old stomping grounds, Durham, North Carolina. 22nd ranked SMU taking on the Giant Killers and the Duke Blue Devils.
SMU is favored by 11.5. Over-under is set at 48.5. Snowman, this is the first time we've got one of these games.
Okay. I've tossed a coin on this one several hundred times.
And?
It keeps landing on its side.
Why do you think I picked this one?
Screw it. Give me the Blue Devils to score the upset. They're at home. They do strange things when they're at home against ranked teams. Clemson, anyone? I will trust the Blue Devils. I shouldn't, like Victor said earlier, I'll do it, but I'll probably hate myself in the morning. And that morning will be Sunday morning. But the hell with it. Give me the Duke Blue Devils.
Dates?
Too much Mustangs. I'm taking SMU.
Good.
Give me them Ford Mustangs.
Vic?
I'll actually go with Duke as well. I think they'll be able to handle their home turf.
I'm sorry, but the Mustangs got too much horsepower. I got SMU.
Yeah, SMU's got a hell of a running game that I actually love. I want to see the upset, and I know it's a stupid pick, but the hell with it. I've made a lot of stupid picks in my life. All right, this is one of the wild card games that Droid handed to me. It's a noon kickoff. Tulane and North Texas.
Tulane's favored by 7.5, and they're calling this game a shootout because the over/under is at 67.
Good. I will take Tulane. I will take the over, and I'm going to lay the points on this one.
Deets?
Yeah, I'll take Tulane. They've had too many bad things happen to them that they need something good. They need something good to happen.
Good.
Give me North Texas.
Oh, he's going with North Texas.
Wow.
The way they played against Memphis in that shootout, in that barn burner, keeping it close with one of the top teams in the American, I can't pick against North Texas.
Vic?
I like most teams of Texas. But North Texas is not one of them. I got to go Tulane.
I'm taking Tulane in this one. North Texas, yeah. I'm sorry, but Tulane's going to burn you down the secondary.
Watch it when DT Sheffield gets the game-winning touchdown for North Texas.
We'll see. I might put that on the broadcast schedule. We will see. This one is on the broadcast schedule. It's the Big Ten Game of the Year with a team that's finally featured. It's the Illinois Fighting Illini and the top-ranked Oregon Ducks.
Ducks are favored by 21.5. The over/under is set at 54.5. Snowman, this could be a complete blowout.
I know. That's what frightens me. That's exactly what frightens me, that it could be a complete blowout. Holy catfish. They got Oregon favored by how much?
21.5.
21. Yikes. They have no faith in the Illini.
None. But I do. Illinois will cover that. And as stupid as I'm going to sound for saying this, they'll score the upset at Autzen Stadium. Now, will they really score the upset? Hell if I know. But I'm doing this off emotion and not knowledge. Deeds?
I'll take Oregon to win, but Illinois to cover. 21's a lot.
I like it. I like it.
Droid.
Too much Dylan Gabriel, too much Tez Johnson. Give me the Oregon Ducks.
Vic?
If I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down swinging. I'm going with the Illini.
Quack, quack, shucky ducky.
All right.
Way too much Oregon.
All right. I love it. Okay. Let's go to Little Manhattan in Manhattan, Kansas. We got the Sunflower Battle, which may be a game I'll have on my left monitor here. The Kansas Jayhawks and the Kansas State Wildcats.
The K-State Wildcats favored by 10. Over/under set at 55.5.
Let's go down to Droid first.
Okay.
I hate you so much. I hate you. I hate you. I love you, but I hate you. KU needed that bounce back game against Houston last week. That was obvious. They needed that, especially if they want to win out the season and go bowling. K-State is going to be the toughest matchup they will have all year long. This is what they have to win in order to go bowling. Unfortunately, after this, they play Iowa State and BYU. So they have a gauntlet to go through. I think this is the start of a comeback for the Jayhawks. I love Melo Dotson, love Kobe Bryant. But actually, sadly, I'm going to have to pick against my Jayhawks for the sake of my record.
For the sake of my record.
I'm going to go with the Wildcats.
Snowman, I think you got some help with this one. Who you've got?
Yeah, I think you have my pick. I'm Pumpkin. Are you picking the Wildcats too? Look at the screen. Yep. I'll say that's a yes. Pumpkin and I are picking the Wildcats.
What you got for me, DIETZ?
Avery Johnson with the flowing locks. They're gonna run Kansas right out of the building.
Vic?
Yeah, I'm gonna go stateside. I'm gonna give me Kansas State.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep. Now, we got a couple of wild card games to look at. And
Hold up, Snowman, you skipped 2 games.
Did I miss 2 games? What did I miss?
Number 12, Notre Dame at number 24, Navy.
I didn't miss that one.
Yeah, we didn't pick it.
We'll go ahead and pick it.
Notre Dame's favored by 12, over under 52.5.
Notre Dame to win, Navy to cover. Navy's got, and it's at Navy. Navy's got something stupid up their sleeve.
No,
I have this feeling.
It's supposed to be a Notre Dame home game, but it's in East Rutherford.
Oh, okay.
At Giant Stadium.
At Giant Stadium.
Yeah.
What the hell are they playing at Giant Stadium? It's supposed to be a Notre Dame. I still say something goofy is going to happen. I'll pick Notre Dame to win, but I'll pick Navy to cover.
DIETZ.
It's going to be just like last week. Remember I told you, Snowman, Notre Dame fans travel and they go to these games. Unlike the other teams, it's going to be a rocking house for Notre Dame, and they're gonna knock Navy out of the undefeated category.
All right,
good.
Give me the midshipmen. I have been loving what this Navy defense has been doing all year, and Army has been doing the same. Two military schools has been on fire. Of course, Air Force is just Air Force, but I love what Navy's doing. Give me the midshipmen to score the upset.
Vic?
Family tradition for me to root for Indy, and that's what I'm going to do. Go Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Football Jesus don't sink. Give me Notre Dame. The other game we forgot, LSU, Texas A&M.
Wait. I forgot. When did I forget that one?
You talked about
you might have looked over it.
You didn't put it.
I might have.
LSU, it's Texas A&M. Texas A&M's favored by 2.5. The over/under is set at 53.5. It's going to be a good one.
Damn. And this is one of my feature games Saturday night.
Exactly why it's on the schedule for predictions.
Hunga dinga. Okay, now we've spoken about this game a lot.
Yep.
And I rewind back to 6 years ago at Kyle Field when the final score was 74-72, Texas A&M in a game that didn't end until 1 o'clock in the frickin' morning. I watched every single play of that game. My wife watched it with me. She was just my girlfriend at the time. We sat there and looked at that game and every play of it going, can they top each other?
Sure enough.
I say yes. But this time I'm going with the visitors. It's going to be another multiple overtime classic. Grant Nussmeier is going to throw for 600. A&M's quarterback is going to throw for 5.5. And LSU is going to have the ball last, and they will win. I'm going with the Tigers.
Dietz?
I'm going with the Tigers, but for the other side of the football, and Harold Perkins. He is phenomenal to watch. I guarantee he makes something happen. Final drive, fumble, fumble, sack, probably both. But I'm going with LSU.
Good.
Major Burns, give me LSU.
Vic, what you got, V?
You know what I'm going? I'm going with them LSU Tigers.
Got Tigers.
So we got a clean sweep?
Clean sweep. Now we got the wild card.
Now let's go to our wild card games. And thank you for mentioning that to me. Wild card game number 1. This one. The Auburn Tigers and the Kentucky Wildcats.
Wildcats are favored by 2.5. The over-under is set at 43.5. Oh, boy. Snowman.
There is no trust in this game at all from the odds makers. None. There is no trust at all.
None.
In this game. Because how can you only make this a 2.5 point game when neither team has done a doggone thing this year? I mean, Auburn had Oklahoma on the ropes, but couldn't deliver the knockout punch.
Mm-hmm.
Texas effectively did that the following week.
Yep.
And this is a good old-fashioned cat fight.
Yes,
Wildcats and Tigers. And this coin is staying on its side again. The hell with it. Give me the ghost of Bo Jackson and the Auburn Tigers.
Dates.
Yeah, Kentucky at home, favored by 2.5. That just tells you that they believe Auburn's going to win this game. So
Yes.
I'm going with Auburn.
Yes. Thank you, Deeds. And it took Deeds to teach me that when we first got together on the air about how the odds work. And the only thing that Deeds said to me was if they're favored at home and it's less than 3 points, they don't expect the home team to win. I've lived that lesson ever since Deets taught me that.
Right, who you got?
I really want to take a mulligan on this.
I shouldn't do it, but I'll do it. Oh, but why?
I don't like either of these teams at all. Remember what I said. Auburn barely played a good first half against the University of New Mexico.
True. This is true.
A Mountain West team.
So you're taking a mulligan on this one?
I'm taking a mulligan. I'm not picking this game.
He's taking a mulligan.
First mulligan we've had in college.
First college football mulligan that we have. Victor?
Vic?
This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to take the home team. I think Kentucky is going to show that they're more than just their fried chicken. So give me the Wildcats.
Auburn's going to come in and eat themselves some fried chicken.
And then we go way, 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 way west for the final football game on Saturday night. The Nevada Wolfpack and the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors.
The over-under set at 45.5. The stat line is even. Snowman, flip the coin and watch it land on its side.
It already did. 3 times.
Figures. Well, what's the 4th time say?
Please see previous decisions.
Exactly.
That's what the 8 ball is saying.
The 8 ball is saying, why are you asking me? This coin keeps stopping on its side.
The 8 ball saying watch the game. And
8 ball
says refer to Deets.
Yeah, Deets, you pick first.
It's in Hawaii. I'm going with the home team.
Yeah.
Run and shoot offense against Nevada. Nobody runs this anymore, and it's going to be fun to watch.
I agree. I'll go with the home team. I'll go with Hawaii.
Droid.
The Mountain West has been all over the place this year. You know, it's been a pain to watch. Especially that New Mexico Utah State game. Oh Lord, 50-45. That's still,
and that was one of yours.
Apples me. That was one of the games I called. Yeah, both of these teams suck. Neither of them have won a conference game all year long.
Wow.
Neither of them have won a conference game all year long.
That's a heat seeker going out to the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, it is.
Gracious.
But the Wolfpack have had overall stronger games. Give me Nevada.
Vic.
I'm going with the Island Boys. Give me Hawaii.
Mahalo, bitches. Give me Hawaii.
All these games are running solo in. Damn.
Those are our picks brought to you by BetUS.com. Use code Snowman for 125% deposit match. BetUS.com, where the games begin. Let's get out of here.
DIETZ, thank you very much, my friend. Very much appreciated when you come on every Thursday. Always a blast. We love you. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Always a pleasure. And everybody, just keep the cans in your seat this week.
Please do. Please.
We don't need it on the field, all right?
No, we don't.
Don't be
passionate.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Unflinching.
Let's go back to losing. Parking was easier.
Unrelenting.
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight.
Totally.
This one has a chance.
DIETZ.
That's not just a murmur, that's a full-blown fibrillation.
Quinn Ewers is definitely not having a good year. I'll say that.
I was gonna say whenever
compared to every other quarterback in the SEC, including Diego Pavia of the Commodores, he's just not had a good year. Archie Manning has had overall a better year.
All I got to say before we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen, is please keep the trash where it belongs in Cleveland.
Keep your hot dogs in your seat. Keep your cans in your seat.
Just remember, if you
and all I gotta say is,
this has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation.
Let's get out of here.
I'm sorry.
Get out of here.
I couldn't resist. Okay, now I will be serious. All I really gotta say is,
this has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation.
You couldn't wait till tomorrow.
Oh, hell no.
Ain't nobody calling.
have a great day. God bless. Remember to make the next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. Matt Taylor and Deb Whitkus tomorrow, and we start at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. So long, everybody. And always remember, yes, LeBron, it is you. It has always been you. It always will be you forever and ever. And the church said,
amen. You really had to end it with this, though?
I hate it here. All right. Couldn't you wait till tomorrow?
No, apparently not.
See
We got Matt Taylor and Deb Wick. See you, everybody.